Here's how to save $500 every single month. So about 3.5 years ago, my girlfriend at the time and now wife got really fed up with me wasting all of my money on useless things and basically said that if I didn't get my act together and start saving money, she was gonna move back in with her parents. My wife and I sat down and we made a list of every single thing that we spent money on, and then we cut it in half. This means if we were spending $200 a month on groceries, we would change that to $100 a month on groceries. Now, obviously, some things you can't really do that with, but we tried to make it a habit to always be thinking about ways that we could save more money because it's really easy to spend money and it's not really that hard to save it. Before you buy a house, you should always have an emergency fund saved up in case something were to happen. For example, we had our water heater burst and it cost over $2,000 to replace. A lot of people do unrealize that the Social Security that they're repaying into is actually going to be around when they retire. And you should start saving for retirement as soon as possible because the sooner you start, the sooner you can retire. Or when our air conditioning unit went out in the middle of summer, it cost over $800 to fix. And if we didn't have that emergency fund, we would have had to take out a loan or use our credit card to pay for those things. But since we had that emergency fund, we were able to pay for those things outright without having to add any more debt. And I recommend everybody have at least 3 to 6 months of their expenses stored away in an emergency fund. Now, I really didn't want that to happen, so I got to work and came up with a plan to save $500 every single month. If you have any high-interest debt, such as credit card debt, you need to pay that off as soon as possible because it's only going to continue to pile on more and more money that you have to pay. When I say that, I'm actually talking from experience. When I was in college, I put all of my textbooks on my credit card because I didn't have the money for them and I didn't want to take out a student loan for it. And then I ended up graduating with like a $2,000 balance that I had to pay off. It took me about 1.5 years to pay off. And if I would have just saved that money and paid it off faster, I would have been done with it already. But after that, I wanted to find a side hustle that I could do from anywhere in the world. Because the goal was to eventually travel the world, and I wanted to take my wife with me. And I discovered a platform where I could do online surveys, watch videos, test websites, test apps, and even do some micro tasks. And they pay you for it. And it was perfect because I could literally do this from anywhere. So I started working on this side hustle every single day from the moment that I got home from work until about an hour before I went to bed. And that extra $1,000 a month that I was making went straight into savings. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how I did it. And we knew that we wanted to buy a house, but we couldn't afford a house at the time. So we decided to look for a roommate. And luckily enough, we found somebody who was willing to move in with us and help us pay the bills while we saved up for a house. And after 6 months of doing that, we were finally able to buy our first house. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. No, 1, we cut our spending in half. Number 2, I started making more money. Now, I was working full-time as a software engineer, and then I was also doing some freelance work on the side. No, 3, we saved on housing. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment that was way too small for the both of us and our dog. No, 4, we have an emergency fund. No, 5 is to pay off your high-interest debt. And no, 6, save for retirement. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.